In the main event, we have a rematch in the middleweight division. Number 6, Brendan Allen versus number 14, Chris Curtis. And this fight just came together about 2 weeks ago as Allen was due to face Marvin Vettori in his main event bout. However, Vettori had to drop out due to injury. Chris Curtis answers the call, and he's doing so against, I think, one of the most on-fire middleweights in the division. Brendan Allen is coming in riding a 6-fight winning streak, with 5 of those 6 all being by submission, including his last win over Paul Craig back in November. Allen is on a 6-fight win streak after his last loss in 2021, and that last loss for Allen came at the hands of Chris Curtis, literally. That night, Curtis beat Allen by second round TKO. Curtis hasn't had quite the same success as Allen since that fight, which isn't that so weird how MMA works like that. In his last 5, though, Curtis has 2 wins, 2 losses, and the one eye poke, no contest. He is coming in off his win over Marc-Andre Barriault at UFC 297 back in January. These matchups are always interesting whenever there's a rematch involved. So with that, though, John, let us know, who are you taking in this middleweight main event?
Oh, man, this is rough. Brendan Allen's only lost to 2 people in the UFC, Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland, who train together, who have like a similar type of forward boxing type of style. Obviously, Chris Curtis knows he can knock him out. And the other part that it gives me a little bit of hesitation is Brendan Allen hasn't fought, I feel, a striker as good as Curtis since then. It's been like jiu-jitsu guys, Andre Muniz, the Paul Craigs, those type of people that where it's like, I don't know that his stand-up has been tested as much. But on the flip side, I feel like I don't know if anybody's grew as much since that fight between the two as Brendan Allen. I think Brendan Allen has gotten a lot slicker with his striking, but we know where his bread and butter is, and I don't think he's going to play around with the Demolition Man and put himself in the spot to get done like he did in their last fight. I think he's going to get it to the ground, but we haven't really seen anybody really control Chris Curtis like that on the ground either, so his work will be out for him. But I think if it stands striking, he puts himself in danger, and I don't like that for him. But I do think Brendan Allen has grew more than Chris Curtis since their last fight. So I'm going to take Brendan Allen here. I'll say 3rd round sub.
Yeah, this is just tough because of that rematch element, right? Because it's not even just my opinion, but I think statistically even, the guy who won the first fight we've seen typically holds a big advantage in the rematch. At least I feel that's kind of as of late how it's been. And even on short notice, I think Chris Curtis deserves some serious respect here, because for a guy who's kind of built a reputation or a career on taking last notice fights, who better to come in here and upset, Brendan Allen than Chris Curtis? But my biggest problem here is I think Allen is just genuinely one of the best active middleweights right now. And if you look at that last fight, I think he is undoubtedly the guy who, as you said, John, has made the greatest gains and improvements to his game, primarily in the striking and using it to complement and set up some of that grappling that he needs to get to. I think even the hair is elevated, right? He doesn't have the baby mullet. We are going to get the purple shorts, hopefully, Dana said. But he had the baby mullet in that first fight. Now he has the sweet braids.
The hat. You love the hat.
Yep. I just kind of think sometimes you see fighters elevate themselves to a different level and then go on a run like this, and they typically can kind of ride that wave all the way to a title shot. And I think that's where Allen is, which sucks because a win over Vettori probably could have gotten him to a title shot, and I'm just not sure a win over Chris Curtis does. But either way, I do think that's where he's heading, and I think Allen will finish Chris Curtis here, like you said. I do think the decision's the safer bet because Chris Curtis is tough, only been submitted once in his career. But I think Allen will come in to prove a point. I actually had 3rd round sub as well. I'm not even going to lie. So Chris Curtis is tough. I'm going to move it 1 round back. I will say 4th round submission.
Well, when I looked at his record, it's been like 1st and 3rd. So either gets you out of there early or he wears on you a little bit and then kind of slaps it on.
And he's probably going to have to wear on a guy like Chris Curtis, So, but hey, man, like I said, Chris Curtis is a guy I would send in there to fight literally anybody at any time. On short notice, it doesn't matter.